Hey and welcome here. I'm Torkild Brunsnes and this is Python Learning by Doing. I strongly believe that learning by doing, that's the way that works the best. It is for me, I can tell you. So try to follow these chapters here and do what I'm showing on the screen. Follow it on your own computer. And when you have gone through all the different chapters, I promise you, you will be an excellent programmer. Well, let's grab a cup of coffee and then let's just get going. This video will be the first in a series of, I plan it to be 26 videos in total about how to learn the basics about Python programming. What we will do here is we will simply go through all the basic things and tools you need to learn how to program. And it's like learning a new language. You know, sometimes I come from Denmark, and when I went to school, I learned French and German and English. All were foreign languages to me. And you could sit there and wonder sometimes if you see a picture of a horse, and then you see in German it's called Pferd. And then you say, why? Why is it called Pferd? You know, and that's kind of the wrong question to ask, because that's just how it is. Somebody decided that it's called Pferd in German. That's a horse. And you just have to accept that and learn it. And it's a bit the same when you have to learn a new programming language. It has certain words it used to call specific functions, and the same, it has a syntax for how you use brackets and square brackets and all that. And you can ask why. Well, that's just how it is. Whoever invented this language, they decided to do it that way. So there is some learning in it, but I would say Python is a good language because it's perhaps one of the most straightforward programming languages I have worked with. And that makes it easy to learn and easy to remember. It's almost like speaking English, because most calls, most functions, they are called what they are named in English. Then it's more the syntax around it with brackets and all that, colon, semicolon, and all that. When do you use what? And that you just have to learn by seeing a ton of examples. And slowly, as you start programming in it, it just sticks. So that's why I call this here Python Learning by Doing, because it's really by doing it. That's how you learn it. So I'll take you by the hand through these 26 small videos. They will be very short, each of them, but watch the whole series. I think if you watch them all, it will take you somewhere between 4 and 6 hours. But what I will recommend you is that you follow on your own computer. You simply sit and type, and as I go through the video, you can just pause it, and then you can do the typing and follow what I'm doing. When I learned myself back in time, I used two screens, dual screens. So I had one with the video material. That's how I like to learn. And then I have one beside me where I do the programming on. That seems to be very effective for me. So try to follow it. I can only recommend that, because that's how it sticks. If you just watch the video, you will have forgotten 90% when we are done. So try to take notes, do the exercises on your computer, and then when we are done, it will start to stick. The first thing we need to do before anything else, that is, we need some software installed. And here we want to go to the www.python.org, and from there we want to install the Python version that works for your computer's control system. I run on a Windows computer, so in that case it's a Windows version I want to go for. But we want Python, and we want to go to downloads for Windows, and here you can see there are two different versions here. There is a Python 3 release, the 3.10.2, and there is a Python 2 release, Python 2.7.1.8. And the reason there is two versions, that is that when Python was developed, we started with the version 2, and it's perhaps the one that there is most software created in until now. But the newest version of Python, and the one that is supported going forward, that is the Python release 3. So I will recommend to install the release 3 by clicking on that one, and then simply let it install on your computer. So this is definitely the way to go. So install as a first step the Python release 3. Next, we need to install what is called an IDE, an integrated development environment. What it is basically an editor, a text editor, where you do your programming in, you sit and do your typing, but it has some extra functionalities. You can basically use any editor, but I won't recommend it. But this is kind of like a text editor that has a lot of added functionality where it can test the code, and it can give you suggestions to complete code strings and the correct syntax and so on. So I will definitely recommend using an IDE. I will use something called PyCharm. I think that's one of the most used IDEs out there. There are others, and you can use some from Microsoft or whatever you prefer. But I will, in this example here, be using the IDE called PyCharm. And we will install it from a website called jetbrains.com. And in the browser, you just type in jetbrains.com, like up here, press enter, and you will get to their website. They have a version of PyCharm that is for professional developers, and that one they will charge you for. But for this training session here, and all the sessions, all 26, you will be good by going in and use one of the learning tools. They have a educational version of it. So if you go under learning tools, you have PyCharm Educational. This is a free IDE for learning. So I would definitely recommend taking that one. And when you're in here, you can say download for free. And you just do that, let it install. And what I did, I simply used all the default settings. But I did put a checkbox in that I wanted an icon on my home screen. But if you try to open the program PyCharm, you should get into a start window, something like what I have here on the screen. And you can see the screen is kind of divided into some main fields. Over here to the top left, you have the file hierarchy. So you have Python projects, and they have actually made an example file here to start up with. And that one you can see up here, it's called main.py. So that's a file you have over here in the hierarchy. And when we're done looking at it, we can just delete it. We can try to run this, and to run it, you push this green button up here, the green arrow, and you see the top right window is where you do the programming, and you can test it by pressing here, and now it will execute the program, and you can see it run down here in the bottom in the terminal. And here it says hi PyCharm. So as you can kind of see here, that's why we would like to use an editor like PyCharm, because on top of being able to program in the top right window, you also have the option to run the programs and see the output down in the bottom. That concludes this chapter of Python Learning by Doing. Make sure that you follow all the following chapters and go through the entire series. Also make sure to hit both the like and the subscribe buttons, because that would help me to keep creating programs like this. So thank you for doing that. And here after this there will be a link on the screen, and that will be to the next episode in this series of 26 videos. So take another cup of coffee and get ready for the next episode.